Welcome to another episode of The Demon's Den, your stop for horror history, stories, and more. I'm your host Hex, and in today's episode we'll be talking about urban legends. You know about urban legends. The stories we're all told as kids that everyone and their mom swore was true. Whether it was like about Auntie's haunted house, or your uncle driving down a certain stretch of road and he swears on everything he saw a little ghost girl sitting on the side of the road. And we'll also be talking about some new urban legends that have been popping up that honestly seem pretty believable. You know, growing up, I heard some pretty crazy ones. Like, there was the dog choking on a finger. That one goes that there was this guy who had a dog, he went out for the night. His house was getting robbed, and his dog bit off the robber's finger. When the guy came home, he found his dog choking on something, and when he got it out, it was a finger. There was keeping the light off while in the car, which is bogus, because your parents just wanted to keep the light off and you to sit down. Growing up in El Paso, I always heard the cucuy and the weeping woman. I'm not even going to try to say the weeping woman in Spanish because I don't want to get made fun of. But the cucuy is like the Mexican boogeyman, and the weeping woman is about some crazy lady who drowned her kids and I guess wants to go and drown more. Let's see here. I was always told that if you got punched in the stomach hard enough, you would crap your pants, which I actually learned from Mansers, that if you kick someone in the gooch with 90 psi, it will loosen their bowels, and if they got poop in there, it's coming out. I'm also a theater kid, and I learned, not to say Macbeth in the theater. That's a huge urban legend. These kids, they really get freaked out by anything that invites bad luck to their stage, their theater, their production, anything. They really lose it. As recently as last year, I've been hearing stories that sound outlandish, but the evidence behind these stories leads me to believe that something is actually happening here. And some of these urban myths are pretty damn scary, so let's get right down to it. This first one comes out of my hometown of El Paso, Texas, and it freaked me out when I first heard about it. So, back in March of 2021, there was 15 decapitated and gutted goats found in the deserty areas right off of Railroad Street. It was found that these goats originated from New Mexico, but no one knows who left them there, or why they were placed where they were placed. The El Paso Police Department insisted that whoever did this was attempting to do some sort of a demonic ritual. Again, never proven. But what the residents and business owners around Railroad Street have been saying leads me to believe that something demonic did happen. So, October of last year, business owners and people who live around Railroad were reporting stuff in the desert, like seeing stuff run and dash around in the desert, and there's nothing out there. Maybe some snakes or something, but there's no giant animals out there. And before they see whatever that is run to the bushes or underneath the freeway bridge, they report a goat's bleat. A bleat is the sound a goat makes when it's, just the sound the goat makes. And I suck at it, but that sound. So they hear that, they see it, but the sound is just drowned out by the traffic or by the passing trains. I haven't seen anything about this, but apparently there's this storage facility right off of Railroad Street next to this giant water storage tank right across the street from a business called Ditch Witch. Now, around this water tower, there were giant hoof prints seen. I don't know what could leave hoof prints that size. A horse? I've never seen horses out in that desert before. I've seen big old scary flying bugs, but I've never seen like a giant, what people are describing as, I'm pretty sure is a giant demon goat. So that's a new one for El Paso. I've been hearing about that one lately. This next one rose out of the unfortunate situation that's happening between Ukraine and Russia. You know, the war, that awful thing that should not be happening. But the urban legend that arose out of that is called the Ghost of Kiev. Now, this ghost is apparently a passed-on major that died in 2022. Now, this passed-on major was a fighter pilot, and apparently this ghost took down 40 enemy planes, which made him like a superhero to the people of Ukraine. The Air Force of Ukraine said that this is nothing but an urban legend. It's war propaganda. It's fake. But it's definitely something to believe in, and I haven't seen any evidence that it is fake or that it could be fake. So, I mean, hell, if it's something to give anyone hope, I'll believe it. I'll believe in it. No problem. This next one may sound more familiar because it's older and there is a very famous case connected to it. Now, we've all heard about those internet games, like the Blue Whale game and I think it was called the Momo game. And these games made people not exist anymore. Now, back in 2011, there was this game that originated from either Japan or Korea, I can't remember which, and it's called the Elevator Game. Now, this game isn't something that you play on the PlayStation or on Xbox. It is a ritual that can only be performed inside of an elevator, and not just any elevator. The elevator needs to be in a building that has at least 10 floors. Now, there are steps to playing this game, and I will read them aloud now, but be warned, I have no idea if this works, so if you ever do choose to do this, do it at your own discretion, but I'm going to just say, to be safe, do not do it. So step 1. Let's say you're the player. You enter an elevator alone with another player. No outsider can enter the elevator with you, nor can you leave at any point. If you do exit the elevator, you must start over. Step 2. Then you ride the elevator from floor to floor in a specific sequence. Up to the 4th, down to the 2nd, up to the 6th, back down to the 2nd, up to the 10th, and then down to the 5th. Remember, do not get off on any floor. Step 3. When you get to the 5th floor, you may, or will, encounter a mysterious woman. Do not look at her and do not answer or interact with her in any way. The consequences of engaging with her are said to include the possibility of never returning to the real world. Step 4. Now push the button to descend from the 5th floor to the 1st floor. Here's where they say things could get crazy. If the elevator operates normally and takes you to the 1st floor, exit immediately and do not look back or talk to anyone. But if instead you end up taking the 5th floor to the 1st floor and the elevator begins to go up, well, congratulations. You are being allowed to enter this world, or so they say. Alternatively, you might resist the urge to freak out, and instead simply press the emergency button and wait for the fire department to arrive with help. Now, there are also steps to getting back to the real world, aside from this crazy upside-down Stranger Things world. And those steps include step 1. Getting back to our world, the rules say that you must get back on the same elevator you rode before. Finding it may be a problem, but intrepid believers advise you to keep searching until you find it. Once you enter the elevator again, move from floor to floor in exactly the same sequence you did originally. 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5. Upon reaching the 5th floor, press the button to the 1st. If the elevator starts ascending again, quickly press any other floor before you reach the 10th. Or, as I suggested before, you can simply press the emergency button, have a seat, and wait for help to arrive. Now, crazy. But what makes this game so insane and just something notable to talk about is because back in 2013, there was the case of Elisa Lam. Now, she was staying in the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, and she vanished after she was seen acting erratically next to an elevator. Security camera footage showed her kind of playing, or what looked like she was playing, the elevator game, and believers of this elevator game say that's exactly what she did. Now, unfortunately, Elisa was found dead inside of one of the hotel's water tanks. It was believed that she had committed suicide. Believers of this elevator game, however, say otherwise. They say that she messed up on the third step, and that whatever woman that was entering the elevator with her took her own life, or took her life. So that's a possibility that is connected to this very strange and otherworldly game. Worldly. God, I cannot talk today, I am sorry. So this last one I'm going to be talking about is called The Backrooms. So the Backrooms really scared the crap out of me because it reminded me of like portals or something like the Bermuda Triangle. So the Backrooms are a never-ending maze of what looks like an office space or like your grandma's home in the 80s. It depicts what is known as liminal space. That's an eerie aesthetic that depicts abandoned or oddly familiar spaces. So it's a never-ending space of something that looks familiar but at the same time doesn't. Now, why would you be scared of this place, right? Just don't go there. Now, see, that's what makes it super scary. Anybody can just drop into this place through a process called no-clipping. What's no-clipping? So, best way I can explain that is like when you glitch out in a video game. Like when your character just starts falling through the wall or shoots out of somewhere entirely, and they're not in the video game anymore, they're in some undeveloped area. That is what no-clipping is. And just like a video game glitch, you can come right on back, within seconds, or you can stay in that glitched area for a while, and you can wander this place for a while, or you can end up being attacked. There are rumors of what is to be believed as a monster living in the back rooms, something that seems almost familiar but isn't familiar. And it will chase you, and it is relentless in its chase. It will go after you until you're no longer in the back rooms. Thank you everybody for joining us for another episode of The Demon's Den. Tune in next week where we'll be talking about theater superstitions, why saying break your leg means good luck, and saying Macbeth in a theater will automatically bring the theater demons down to curse your show. So until next time, stay safe, lock your doors, and if a ghost is at your house, tell them to start paying rent, because, inflation's going on right now.